Well, it's a Friday afternoon. Actually, it's not. It's a Friday morning. But you know, I have no idea what day it is or what time it is. I don't know about you guys, but it's super weird. Here's all these really cute pictures. Who's underneath here? Oh my gosh, Rowan didn't like that picture, I bet. Oh. Guys, this is supposed to be the best unit of the whole year. King Arthur is. We can still make it awesome, right? I hope so. So these are some of the awesome projects kids have done in the past for this unit. I'm sure you guys have noticed them on the walls over the course of the year. The two really big tapestries actually had made for me in 2013 in the spring. That was my first year I was at East. So that was really cool. Hi kids, it's Miss West home again. Here to read you the end of Two Swords. But before I get to that, there was a question on the Google form yesterday when I said, did you get the part when Merlin revealed some information about Uther Pendragon and Igraine? Did you guys get that part? Some of you didn't. Some of you did. So the part is, it's interesting because in the very beginning of the story, you might remember when Morgana Le Fay is introduced, it says that she goes to a nunnery and somehow she learns magic and she is wicked, okay? However, Merlin is always referred to as being wonderful and loyal and important and holy, okay? Yet he's also using magic. And in this instance, he used magic for bad. I mean, I consider it bad because what happened was Uther Pendragon was very much attracted to Arthur's mother, okay? And at the time, Arthur's mother, Igraine, was married to the Duke of Cornwall named Gorlas, okay? So those two are married over here, and then there's Uther Pendragon. And Uther Pendragon sees, I should have little guys. I have some little guys. Okay, so Uther Pendragon, I'll switch it around. Okay, so Uther Pendragon sees Igraine and wants her. Like he wants to be with her, except for she's married to the Duke of Cornwall, who is Peppa Pig right now. Anyways, so what he does is he wages war with Gorlas because he wants his wife. So these two fight, and then it's like at nighttime, and they're taking a break from fighting. So they take a break, and then what happens is Uther sneaks away, okay? And then the next day, there's a fight going on again. So this is Uther Pendragon's side, and this is Gorlas's side, okay? And what happens is Uther Pendragon's side kills Gorlas's side, all right? But while that happens, Merlin disguises Uther Pendragon as Gorlas, and Gorlas goes home and says, oh, hi, honey, I'm here to see you. And she says, oh my gosh, honey, I'm so glad you came home. And then they go to bed. They go night-night. I'm gonna go night-night in here. And then in the morning, all of a sudden a messenger comes. The messenger comes and says, oh, we must speak to the Duke of Cornwall's wife. And so then Igraine comes out and she says, what's wrong? And then they say, oh, we're so sorry, but your husband Gorlas died last night. And then Igraine's like, well then who was in bed with me last night? I'm so confused. And that was because Merlin turned Uther Pendragon into Gorlas just for a night. So then what happens is Igraine is thinking, oh my gosh, well, I am I did not know this, but I am now pregnant, and I don't have a husband. So then Uther Pendragon says, no, I will be your husband. I love you. And she says, well, I'm pregnant. And he says, I know, it's my baby. And then she's like, what? And then he says, yes, I deceived you because I had Merlin turn me into Gorlas. And in the stories, she acts like, okay, thanks for doing that. But what other choice does she have? Because she's a woman back then, and she has no rights to anything. And if she were to say, no, I don't want to marry you, I don't want to be with you, how dare you trick me like this, then he would just take her baby away from her, which ends up happening anyways. It's very sad. Anyways, back to the swords. So if you will recall, Arthur just broke his sword, okay? And it was his pride, and a lot of you got that right. When I said, what other character do you know had a poor outcome when pride got in the way? And a lot of you said Julius Caesar, a lot of you said Creon, a lot of you said Odysseus. Okay, so anyways, thanks, good job. You guys are doing a really good job. So let's get back to the story. This is right after Arthur has broken his sword. And Merlin says, let that not trouble you. It's okay. The sword served its purpose. Let's go get you a new sword, all right? Deeper and deeper into the forest they went, and before long the hills rose on either side until they were riding through a narrow valley that wound through dark mountains, and at last they came to a narrow pass in the rocks, and beyond it, in a cup of the mountains, Arthur saw a strange lake. All around it the hills rose darkly and desolately, but the lake water was of the clearest, sunniest blue, and the shore was covered thickly in fresh green grass and flowers. Over the brow of a little rise beyond the lake, the mountains opened out into a great plain, and beyond it was water, half hidden in mist, and broken with many islands. This is the lake of the fairy palace, said Merlin. And beyond the lake, over the brow of the hill yonder, lies the plain of Camlan, where the last battle shall be fought, and you shall fall beneath the stroke of the evil knight. And beyond the plain lies Avalon, hidden in the mist and the mysterious waters. Go now down and speak with the Lady of the Lake, while I wait here for you. Leaving his horse with Merlin, Arthur went down the steep path to the side of the magic lake. Standing on the shore, he looked out across the quiet blue water, and there, in the very center of the lake, he saw an arm clothed in white samite, with a hand holding above the surface a wondrous sword with a golden hilt set with jewels and a jeweled scabbard and belt. In the middle of the lake, there's just a hand sticking out of the water. And then Arthur saw a beautiful damsel dressed in pale blue silk with a golden girdle. She walked across the water until she stood before him on the shore. I am the Lady of the Lake, she said, and I have come to tell you that your sword Excalibur waits you yonder. Do you wish to take the sword and wear it at your side? Damsel, said Arthur, that is indeed my wish. For long I have guarded the sword, said the Lady of the Lake. Give me but a gift when I shall come to ask you for one, and the sword shall be yours. By my faith, answered Arthur, I swear to give you whatsoever gift you shall ask for. Enter into the boat then, said the Lady of the Lake, and Arthur saw a barge floating on the water before him, into which he stepped. The Lady of the Lake stood on the shore behind him, but the barge moved across the water as if unseen hands drew it by the keel, until Arthur came beside the arm clothed in white samite. Leaning out, he took the sword and the scabbard, and at once the arm and the hand which had held it sank quietly out of sight beneath the blue waters. Then the barge brought Arthur to the shore where the Lady of the Lake had stood, but now she was gone also. He tied the barge to a tree root which curved over the waterside, and strode joyfully up the steep path to the pass, buckling the sword Excalibur to his side as he went. Merlin awaited him with the horses, and together they rode away into the forest, and back by many winding paths, until they drew near the river which lay between them and Caerleon, and came to the straight paved road leading to the city. In a little while, said Merlin, King Pellinore will come riding towards us, for he has ceased to do battle with all who pass through the forest, having seen a questing beast, which he must follow now for many years. Another adventure. Then I will fight him once more, cried Arthur. He didn't learn his lesson. Now that I have so good a sword as Excalibur, maybe I shall overcome and slay him. Merlin shook his head. Let him pass, he said, for so I counsel you. He is a brave knight and a mighty, and in days to come he will do you good service, and he and his sons shall be among the bravest in the court. I shall do as you advise me, said Arthur. It's the first time he took some advice. But he looked upon the sword Excalibur and sighed. Which like you better, the sword or the scabbard? Asked Merlin. I like the sword, cried Arthur. Then are you the more unwise, said Merlin gravely. The scabbard is worth 10 such swords, for while you wear that magic scabbard you shall lose but little blood. However sorely you are wounded, keep well that scabbard and have good care of it after I am gone from you. For a certain wicked lady, who is nearly related to you, shall see to steal both sword and scabbard. They rode on, and in a little while met King Pellinore, who rode past as if he had not seen them. I marvel, said Arthur, that he did not even speak to us. He saw you not, answered Merlin, for my magic was upon him. But had you striven to stay him in your pride, then he would have seen you well enough. Before long they came to Caerleon, and his knights welcomed Arthur joyfully. And when they heard of his adventures, they were surprised that he should thus have gone into danger alone. But all the bravest and noblest of them rejoiced exceedingly that they had such a king, one who would risk his life in an adventure as other ordinary knights did. That's interesting. Today's edition of King Arthur has been brought to you by
House Party. It's so easy that a kid can do it.
You gonna show me how?
Yeah. Just press that and then
Press join.
you just press join and then
Okay.
hi.
What are you doing?
I made a Christmas tree. It's like a Christmas decoration.
Oh. Are you gonna have an interview with your class?
I'm just gonna stab a hole in it and then put a rope in it and then tie it, and then when it's Christmas we can put it on our tree.
Cool. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, House Party. Bye. Wave. Wave, Autumn. Wave. There we go. Kate, wave. Yay. House Party's so great. You don't ever mess up the house, and you're with your friends. It is wonderful. So, kids, from now on, don't get together with each other in person. Get together with House Party.